Welcome back to our cruising series. Today we're going to talk about choosing an itinerary. We have a couple of tricks of what we think about, and we thought we would share that with you today. So our first tip is just knowing where you are going to start. Maybe you're just going to go and take a vacation and you don't care where the cruise starts. If you, like us, are a long-term traveler, we try as much as we can to use our cruises as transportation. So instead of having to take a big flight somewhere, we just cruise there instead, and that can be a great alternative, those repositioning cruises. So you want to know, where am I going to be in the world? Is there a place that I want to start this cruise from? And it just gives you a good place to start your search.
And following that, where do you want to end up? What is a dream destination of yours? The great thing about cruising is you can pick anywhere in the world, and there is probably a cruise that goes there or at least gets pretty close. You might be someone who wants to see South America or the Greek islands or Asia. Just knowing where you want to go can really help you narrow down your search because there are really so many choices.
While you're doing your research, another thing you're going to want to pay attention to is the length of the cruise. This is going to matter because there are some differences in shorter cruises versus longer cruises. Now, some of it is just going to be a matter of how many days you have to fit into your schedule, and so you'll have to choose based on that. But if you've got a little bit of open-ended time, you want to pick the cruise that's going to be the best fit for your needs. Shorter cruises tend to be, now there's always exceptions, but the shorter cruises tend to be a little bit more party cruises. You're going to get a lot more families. You know, some of those, they have like 3-day cruises that can really just be weekend party cruises. And if that's what you want, that could be excellent. These longer cruises tend to skew a little older. They tend to be a little bit quieter. There tend to be fewer children running around because there's not as many families. However, like I said, this varies cruise to cruise. This is a Christmas cruise, and so there are a lot of families on this cruise. In fact, we were just at an event today, and they told us that half of the ship is first-time cruisers. We're in Africa. This is such a random itinerary to have that many new cruisers, but it's a Christmas cruise, so it attracted more families.
Other things you'll notice are that the shorter cruises will tend to start and end in the same location, while the longer cruises may start and end in different ports. So if you want to fly in and out of the same place, a shorter cruise might be for you. Another thing is the longer cruises tend to go to more exotic locations. The shorter cruises are generally in just one small region of the world. The longer ones may take you to Africa or to South America or somewhere more exotic.
Just pay attention. If you're going to choose a 7-day cruise, you're potentially going to get a different clientele than if you book a 14 or more day cruise.
One thing people don't often consider when choosing their itinerary is what ship is making that itinerary. The other day someone said to us, it's not the cruise line, it's the ship that matters. And often we find that is true. We tend to like smaller ships. They don't necessarily have all the bells and whistles of those big mega ships, but we kind of like that. They're a little quieter, slower pace. But if you are a person who likes bells and whistles, there are plenty of ships for you that have the rock walls and the go-karts and the water slides and those things that go up in the air and you ride, and I have no idea what those even are, but I've seen them on ships. They look really cool. There are a lot of different options.
One very important consideration, especially for the longer cruises, is comparing how many days are you in port versus how many days are you at sea. Now, everybody kind of has their own preference on this. We love port days, and we generally are choosing cruises that have a lot of ports. That's one of the reasons we have been so loyal to Norwegian, because Norwegian generally has a lot of interesting ports. They're going to more places than many of the other cruise lines. So we've really enjoyed that, and we've got to see some amazing places just because we picked a cruise that had a lot of ports. Now, one thing to consider is that our personalities change over time and what we want. I will say right now, we are on a cruise that is amazing. This is a bucket list destination. We started in the Middle East. We're going to the Seychelles. We're going to Madagascar. We have 3 stops in Madagascar over the 2 cruises, and I could not be more excited about these destinations. But I will also say we are, after 2 years of traveling full time, we're having a little bit of travel fatigue and we're tired and we're really enjoying our sea days. We have 4 in a row right now and I'm just so grateful that we have them. I think at this point, like if I were to book another cruise in the next 6 months, I would want to book one of those cruises that are like all sea days just so I could relax. So it's going to depend on you and what you want and what area of the world you're in, but pay attention to that. Because if you are someone who thinks you're going to get bored, you might want to make sure you've got lots of ports to keep things interesting. If you are tired and want to relax more, you might want to pick a cruise that has a lot more sea days. You just have to pay attention to make sure you pick the cruise that is going to make you the happiest. So we hope you found this useful. We are doing a video every single day of our cruise, sharing all of our best tips, tricks, and hacks on how to have a successful cruise. I will put the playlist to that right over here. Today.